In this video, I'm going to show you a game that I played in the Icelandic League. This was about 2 months ago, in March. The last time I played classical chess. My opponent in this game, a fellow FIDE master. We always have interesting back and forth games. And well, we also know each other quite well. We've been to the same tournament together where we shared an Airbnb. So, we know a lot about each other's repertoires. I know what he plays, he knows more or less what I play. We were also teammates for many years for the Westman Islands chess club. So, like 1 hour before this game, I knew who I would play. I was actually expecting to play another player in their club, Oliver Aron Jóhannesson. So, the day before, I was mostly trying to prepare for him. And I was also expecting to be black. So there was a change in my team, so I actually moved up a board and played against Sjöberg. So, okay, he plays the Semislav or the King's Indian. His King's Indian, has been his main weapon, and he's sort of coming back to that after playing the Semislav for some years. And so I expected to get this main line of the King's Indian, bishop e2. And here I was kind of hoping for him to play e5, where I have some ideas. I played some good games in a line there. You can check out my game against Grandmaster Moore from the European Club Cup about 2 years ago, where I should have won. I played a good game, but fortune wasn't on my side. I blundered my last move before the time control. I let him off the hook, and the game was drawn. But my opponent Sjöberg, he went for knight b to d7, which is also tricky. I think Gavin Jones is recommending this book in his Chessable series and his book on the King's Indian. So against these moves, knight d7 and knight b to d7, I've just been playing this line with rook e1 and then going bishop f1. And I'm sort of waiting for them to take on d4, which they eventually usually do and usually have to. But my opponent did not take straight away on d4, he played c6. And here I played rook b1. Now you can see that in the opening tree, it's indeed the most common move. I can't really explain why, to be honest. But I had some recollection of this being a move, and it's logical in a way because you get out of the line of fire here. Once you take on d4, knight takes, you're not going to have any problems if you play b3. So rook b1, you played a5. And I did play b3, which again is the most common move. But if I got this position again, I would probably deviate. Play something like h3. The thing with b3, I had a similar position against another grandmaster at the European Club Cup. The last European Club Cup. And there I had worked out, after takes on d4, which is similar to what happened in that game, and happened in this game against Sjöberg. Here I don't have my knight protected. In the other game, my knight was protected because I hadn't played b2 to b3. So now the move knight g4 becomes a problem. Because I don't have any good way to sort of cop out. I can't go like back with a knight because my knight on c3 hangs. I can't do something like this. I think. I don't know, just queen h4 and I'm toast. And the moves h3 and f3 just don't work. I think h3, he can select between. He might be able to take this. He might be able to play queen e5 and then take this. And this hangs as well. Maybe knight takes. Yeah, knight takes f2. Okay, at least I try. And same for f3. Then he can maybe just take on h2 or play queen e5 takes d4. So in the end, I settled for queen takes d4, which is the best move. Bishop takes d4, and now his bishop is attacking my queen, so I went queen to g3, protecting my knight. He goes knight c5. And okay, he might think about in some lines taking here, taking on e4, but it's a bit risky. But in any case, the knight, it's good on c5, and he's opening up for his bishop. I figured, okay, I need to get this guy out, so I played bishop h6, rook e8, and I figured this guy wasn't doing much, so I centralized the rook b to d1, and played bishop e5. And here I should probably go bishop f4. And the game goes on. I mean, it's around equal. But like I said, yeah, the game goes on. Instead I played the move f4, which isn't bad per se, but it's very committal. And he plays bishop f6. And yeah, I don't know why I didn't play. I didn't like bishop g5 here. And I'm wondering why I didn't just go rook e2. Because, I mean, obviously his threat is to play bishop h4. And I saw that. But I just didn't like this for some reason. And maybe that's a lesson for me. After the game, one of my teammates, Grandmaster Gretarsson, he said, you know, why? Just bishop g5 and you're fine. I said, okay, I didn't like positions where I give up the e5 square completely, something like this. But, okay, and I was looking at rook takes d6, but that's by no means forced. But I thought this was very good for black. Probably rook takes d6 is not very good. But he said, oh, I mean, okay, we still have space. And we're not down material now. This might be okay. But my position understanding or feeling was that I didn't want to give, you know, have these scattered pawns and give up this e5 square. I thought I would just be suffering for a while, but I could probably play better here, maybe queen takes e5. I also didn't like this though, to be honest. And h4 at some stage, although I don't really have to play h4. This also felt like a good king's Indian for black, knight here, knight d4, etc. Somehow the computer thinks it's fine, but it feels good for black somehow. So I didn't want to go bishop g5, but it's probably the best move. I don't know why I didn't consider rook e2. So in the end, I decided to play e5. Trying to be dynamic, you know, thinking, okay, my pieces are active here, and okay, I give up the exchange. Did I think about something? Yeah, of course, if it goes bishop h4, I take on d6. And we're pretty good here. And the main point is, he doesn't have time for this, intending to take my queen next because of the back rank mate. So this actually wins for white. So that was one of the main points. So he took an e5. I took back with the pawn, and now he took the exchange. And my thinking was, why didn't I go queen e3 immediately though? Don't know why I didn't go queen e3 immediately. It looks more logical. Because I'm giving up the exchange, but you know, there are some black square weaknesses, and I'm hoping for like bishop here and here, stuff like that. But okay, I went queen f3. He took, and now I play bishop f5. And of course, the computer likes this for black, but you know, I have some compensation. Otherwise, the evaluation would be -2. So bishop f5 was played, and I played rook e3, just trying to avoid any funny business with, you know, double attacks. But it's a bit slow, and I haven't gotten around to, you know, getting my bishop somehow to this square, which is what I wanted when I sacrificed the exchange. So bishop back, it was attacked, and I don't want to trade queens. Rook a to d8, bishop g3, he offers a queen trade, and well, I didn't want that. It might be objectively best, but I want to keep the queens on, hoping for some dynamics. And he plays knight d3. And I was actually happy to see this, because, okay, I took on d3, took with the rook, and I have to take back. And now I made luft for my king. So when you're down the exchange, usually you want to have your pieces like attacking on the opposite color complex that your opponent has. So I do have a lot of pieces that can influence the dark squares, the squares where he is actually weak. So I felt like, I'm probably objectively, if you play perfectly, I'm probably going to lose, but, it's a chess game. There are some dynamics, the game is not over by any means. Queen g5, and here I thought, okay, I want to improve my knight. I went knight a4, I want to come in here, and from there, there are some squares that I can jump to, and try to get to this square maybe at some point. He went queen c1 jack here, and again I don't want to trade queens. I went with queen to f6. He threatens mate, and I have to block with the bishop because again I don't want to trade queens. I want to keep my dynamic options. Rook e6, queen check, and then queen here. Sort of keeping the rook, in check because I might be able to move the pawn. And also I'm threatening knight c5 right away. And he went b6, which actually is the best move. But it shows that, evaluation not so great. So definitely compensation for white here. And I'm not sure why I didn't just take the pawn. I thought I was being overly clever here when I played c5, but knight takes b6. And the game probably just, goes on. I mean, black is better, but by no means over. But I played c5, and around this point we're getting into a bit of a time scramble here. Of course, c5, the idea is like if he takes, then I take with a knight, and he's in trouble. So he has to play b5, and then I get the knight to c3. He has to react, bishop to d5, and I take it. And now I get my bishop in. That was one of the key ideas. Queen e4, bishop f6 check, and king f8. And here things are not as bad as I thought during the game. And here I did play a bit of hope chess. My first instinct was to go queen d2. But I thought, okay, I want to kind of threaten to go here and support this pawn. So queen d2 is best. We can keep on fighting. But I played queen c3, and this is a bit of hope chess because I'm attacking this, and I was hoping he would play a move like b4, which he did. He can actually play queen f4, and probably, we just lost. But he played b4, so he kind of fell into my little trap. And the trap is, okay, I'm supporting this pawn and I'm threatening this, which looks very annoying. So here he played the move I was hoping he would play. He played rook takes e5. And he was probably expecting me to go bishop takes e5, queen takes e5 check. I mean, I go king h1 or something. And probably, king h1, queen c3. And it's only black who can win. He might win this pawn. This pawn is coming. So it looks like he's getting a free hand. But here I had a surprise. c6. And in time trouble, we both started to realize that black is just in huge trouble. The main thing is he can't really simplify. There's no checks, first of all. I mean, this check is not available. The rook is in the way. If you try to trade queens, something like this, I will take, and I'm actually covering c3, and if you try to block the pawn this way, I play bishop d8, I'll just make a queen. So he can't do that. He can't go rook e8, because the queen h6, and I just made him. It's mate in 2. The rook takes away the flight square. And finally queen e1, which actually just made as well in a few moves. I play here. And the geometry is actually pretty annoying for black, because in all these lines he's just missing a check or something. If he can land a check, then I'm in trouble. But there's no check. There's no check here. This is taken. His pieces are powerless, and he can only postpone this mate. So after c6, he played rook f5 and allowed me to queen. Perhaps hoping for some chances to get a fortress. I think my queen is active enough. I mean, if he trades and I take on g4, I think I'm active enough to, start grabbing pawns, which should be enough for the win. He kept the queens on, gave me a check, queen g3. And here I thought I played a good move. I was reminded of one of my pattern recognition videos, the Giri pin. And here I thought, okay, I mean, if I pin this rook, he's completely pinned down. He can't move the rook, can't move the king. And if I can attack it again, you will have to use the queen to defend. That's what happened. He played queen e6, I played queen e5. Obviously, if he takes, he's just completely lost because of the pin. So he played queen c6, and I just consolidated. And after h5, I actually found another idea based on pattern recognition knowledge. Most people know the short Timon game, the famous king walk game where short walked his king all the way to h6. It's not completely the same, but very similar. And my plan here is very simple. When the circumstances are favorable, I just want to walk my king here at g5. So I'll play king g3. Queen here. I guess I could go king h4. I didn't want to allow any counterplay. So first I just play queen f4, not allowing his queen in. So he has to keep control of this. Now I shuffle the queens, and now king h4. Now everything is covered. There are no checking squares, no problems. He played d4, but I simply took it. And now because he can't take here because of this, he has to move the queen, and then he's going to be on a square where he can't stop king g5, and I finally just win the rook and the game. So, interesting game. I was obviously a little bit fortunate there when my opponent went for b4. I misplayed. I felt like I misplayed the middle game a little bit. If I have to sacrifice the exchange there, obviously things have gone wrong. You don't want to be playing for compensation with white in a situation like this. This is something that you might have to do with black when you're trying to equalize. But the compensation was perhaps better than I thought. I mean, during the game I thought the evaluation would be much worse, but I always had some compensation, and that made it difficult for my opponent. And in the end, I managed to get the swindle in there. So, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.